Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We're going to be doing an overview and demo of the new ARC Agency Accreditation tool. It's really exciting because this is the first of the ARC tools that will be launched regarding our ARC transformation as we continue to move forward. Hi, I'm Judy Howard with ARC Operations and Customer Experience. And as you can see, I have my colleagues here on the screen with me. Daryl is going to be our main presenter, Daryl Scott. He is our instructional designer and trainer. If you've attended some of our trainings and webinars in the past, I'm sure you've seen Daryl. Also with Daryl today and myself, we have Marvi Dupre, who's our accreditation lead, and we have Stacy Ho, who's our senior accreditation consultant, and they're going to be helping answer a lot of your questions today or fielding them over to Daryl. And before we get started, and I do turn it over, on the right-hand side, your control panel, there is an area where you can write in your questions, and we encourage you to do so. Daryl's going to start off with a presentation, and then before he goes into the demo, we'll take a pause, and Stacy and Marvi will be asking your questions to Daryl, and we'll answer to walk you through that. And in that demo, that will be interactive, and Stacy and Marvi will be fielding Daryl's questions throughout that presentation. The main thing is we want to make sure you get all the information needed before our tool launches, which will happen on October 21st. So we're very excited. Also, afterwards, we'll be sending out a survey to make sure that you got all the information that you need in order to be successful with the new launch of our accreditation tool. Okay, thank you. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Daryl. Thanks, Daryl.
All right, thank you, Judy. Hey, everyone, and again, welcome to today's webinar. So the ARC Agency Accreditation tool has gone through a transformation, and are you ready for it? So in today's webinar, I'm going to talk about the accreditation tool. If you're not familiar with the accreditation tool, I'm going to provide you with an overview as far as what it is. I'm going to actually give you a history as far as how we got to this point. I'm going to tell you why the accreditation tool has been transformed, also talk about the benefits and key functions that you can expect, and best of all, I'm going to provide a demo of the tool. So if you're not familiar with the accreditation tool, it is used by ARC participating agencies, and basically it provides them access to agency change requests that can be submitted to ARC on behalf of an agency, mostly in an electronic format. So if you need to make some sort of update in regards to your agency, such as maybe like a bank account change, address change, personnel change, you could do it through the accreditation tool electronically. Now, just to give you a history source, where we've been and, where we're going. So if you've been an ARC participant for a while, you probably remember that whenever you needed to make a change in regards to your agency, it was done in a paper format called an application. And basically you would fill out the application, either write it or maybe type it, and then you would fax it or mail it to ARC, to our accreditations department, for them to process it. And also, if you remember that, this was a very tedious process. If you remember the paper format, it was, depending on the application that you were submitting, it could be, very lengthy. So it could take you a while to complete it. And there was a lot of redundant information that you were required to provide. So to help the agency community with this, we decided as a quick fix to convert the paper formats to a PDF format, to a writable PDF format. And this way you could download the PDF application to your computer, and since it was in a writable format, you can actually type in the required information. Now, when we moved to the PDF format, we did look at, a lot of the information that, was required, from the paper format, and we were able to reduce the number of pages of information that was required for you to enter. So it was a little bit, easier to actually fill out than the paper format. So this was a kind of a short-term solution. In 2013, we introduced the accreditation tool. And this was, kind of like our long-term goal, to basically put the, create an actually application or a web application where you were able to submit your applications, what we then start calling change requests electronically. You would go, it was part of your agency tools. You would go through MyArc to launch the application, and there you would be able to find the different change requests that were in electronic format, and you would be able to submit it electronically. With the accreditation tool, we did take a look at the different change requests, and we were to reduce a lot of the information that was previously required that was in a PDF or paper format. Now, though a lot of the change requests were available in an electronic format, there were still some requests that were still in a paper or a PDF format, and those requests were located outside of the tool. So if you had to submit a PDF form, you actually have to go outside of the accreditation tool, go to our website, the ARC corporate website, download the form, and submit it to ARC. So it's kind of like a two-step process as far as the different applications. Some applications were in electronic format, some were not, and those that were not, were located outside of the tool, and you would actually have to go, retrieve those applications. So today we have the accreditation tool that is transformed. This is going to be introduced or implemented on next week on October 21st. That's Wednesday, October 21st. So why did we transform the accreditation tool? Well, basically, we wanted to improve and streamline how agencies, how you work, and also how you work with ARC. We also wanted to provide efficiencies and a greater user experience within our tool. Now, some of the key benefits with the new accreditation tool is that it provides, it is flexible, also less time consuming. You'll notice that when you're submitting change requests, it will not take you a long time to submit it. You could easily get through or navigate through the tool to submit your change request. And also there's a faster turnaround. So those change requests that requires ARC's approval, you will be able to get an update or a status or a completion for those change requests a lot sooner than previously. Now, some of the key features in regards to the new accreditation tool is that it is one tool. So one tool allows you to access and submit all of your change requests, whether it's in a electronic format or if it's in a PDF format. If it's in a PDF format, you will be able to retrieve and download those PDF applications or change requests and attach it to a single request and submit it electronically through the tool. Also, you'll notice that it is self-servicing. So some of the change requests that previously required ARC approval, some of those change requests can now be done by you without needing approval from ARC. So for example, if you want to change your address or your bank account, you could do that immediately through the new tool without needing approval from ARC. Also, you have the immediate status of a change request that has been submitted. So you'll know if the request has been approved, if additional information is needed as well. And also, you'll also have instant communications. So within the tool, you're able to communicate with the accreditation specialist in regards to your request. So you can send them an instant message, vice versa. The accreditation specialist can send you an instant message as well. Also, if the accreditation specialist, if they initiate an email through the tool to you, you will be able to view that email within the tool. So you'll be able to view the history, the email histories that was initiated through the tool. Now, one thing that you'll notice as soon as you launch the new tool is that the accreditation tool has a new user interface, which is consistent throughout the tool. It also provides an improved user experience. You'll notice that ARC's branding is well established on the tool, in the tool. And this goes beyond beyond ARC's logo. You'll notice that there is a consistent color schemes, font styles, and layouts that ARC uses throughout our different tools. Now, to access the accreditation tool, it will be no different than it is today. The accreditation tool, you can access it through My ARC. So you will just go log into My ARC, go to your tools section, and then select the accreditation link. Now, temporarily, when we launch, when you click the accreditation link, you will be required to re-enter your My ARC credentials, and this will be temporarily until we actually resolve this and go to a true single sign-on. But again, once we do go through a true single sign-on, once you click the accreditation link, it will take you to the new accreditation tool. Now, as far as the different devices that you could use to launch the tool, you are able to use your traditional desktop or laptop, but now you're also able to access the accreditation tool via your tablets, such as your iPad or your smartphone, for example, your iPhone, which I thought, very cool, because I know a lot of times, when I'm doing work, after hours, if I'm home, I live in a high-rise condominium, and a lot of times, I like to, go to our rooftop deck, take my iPad, and catch up on some work. So, this is, a great feature to be able to access the accreditation tool, from your tablet or smartphone device. And I want to emphasize the release that is coming next week on October 21st. This is going to be the first release, or the first phase that's going to be released, as we are still adding new features that will be added at a later date. So I'm going to pause here before we actually take a look at the tool to see if we have any questions. I'm going to turn it over to Marvi and Stacy. Marvi? Stacy?
Okay, I do see one question regarding, are we going to use two-step authentication?
Right, and that will be temporarily where you'll use two-step authentication until we actually get a true single sign-on. So that our developers are currently working on that to make it a true single sign-on. But for the time being, initially it will be a two-step process.
Okay, and so far that's the only question we have.
All right, so actually let's take a look at the tool. Okay, so again, to access the tool, you're going to log into My ARC. And my ARC is running a little bit slow. I'm in a test environment, so that may be it. Here we go. Oops. So when you launch My ARC, you will just go to the Your Tools section, and you will click the accreditation link. Now, I'm going to log in as an internal user, so I'm going to actually just skip that process and bring up another window. Okay, so when you log in, depending on your agency, you may come to a home offices and branch location. So if you are a home office that has branch locations, you'll first come to the home office and branches page, where it will list out your home offices as well as all of your branches, as you can see here. And what you would do is to click, one of the locations that you would want to go into to go to your agency profile. Now, if you have a lot of, different locations, you can also do a search from the search text box. You could do a search by the ARC number of your location, the name, or the city in which the agency location is located. Now, if you are a single entity, so you don't have any branch locations, when you launch the application, you would immediately go to your agency profile. Oops, and actually click the wrong link. So you would actually go to your agency profile. So I'm just going to select a profile that I want to go into since I have different locations. And this is your agency profile page. So your agency profile page has your general information about your agency, such as your agency information, which includes your ARC number, your legal name, your DBA name, your participation date, so it's when you join ARC, the status of your agency, such as active, your agency type, and your participation type. The general information also includes your contact information, such as your agency's main phone number and web address. It also has your physical address and your mailing address. If you have branch locations, it will provide you with the branch locations that you have. And to go into the location, you could just click the name link, and that will take you to the agency profile of that branch. Your agency contacts is going to provide you with your agency contacts. The initial view is going to provide you with your owner and your manager. If you want to see all of your agency contacts, just click the View All link, and then all of your agencies will be listed. You can list your agency contacts by their role. Some of the roles are the debit memo contact, industry communications, owner, ARC Pay, chargeback contact, manager. You can also display your contacts in alphabetical order. Just click the alphabetical link, and it will display all of your agencies, all of your contacts in alphabetical order. And the last is going to provide you with your bank account information. Now, if you want to make any changes to your agency profile, for example, if you want to make changes either to the agency information, company contact, or physical address, you could click the Edit Profile button, or for a company contact and physical address, you could click the pencil icon next to those sections. So I'm just going to click the Edit Profile button. And this is going to bring my page into an edit mode. And you'll notice under agency information, it's kind of grayed out. So I'm not able to make any changes there. And with the agency information, you actually have to submit a change request. So you will not be able to make any changes directly in the fields. So you would just click the submit a change request link and follow the steps to make those changes. If I wanted to change my company contact information, let's say my phone number needs to be updated, I could just go to the phone number text box, make my change. And then for physical address or mailing address, if I want to make any changes, let's say my physical address was on 456 Ave Street. Well, let's say I moved a few doors down the street. So my address is now, let's say, 500 Ave Street. So I could just make that change. And then click the submit button to submit the change. And you'll notice I got a quick message indicating that the changes have been successfully made. And with the company contact information, along with the physical address, when you make those changes will, take effect immediately. You do not need approval from ARC. So this is one of our self-servicing features. So once you make those changes, those changes are automatically updated without requiring approval from ARC. If you wanted to add additional branch locations, so you wanted to add additional branch locations, you could just click the Add Branch button. If you want to update your agency contacts, click the Change Agency Contacts button. And you have the ability to add a new contact or edit an existing contact. And I'm going to come back to that. I'm just going to go back to the previous page. And then last, if you wanted to update your bank account information, you could click the Change Bank Account button. Let me scroll back up to the top. So if I want to go back to my home office and branches page, let's click that button. And if I wanted to go into another location, I could select the location that I want to go into. And then just click the tab to go into that location. And similar to the first location that we went into, you were able to make updates to the next location that you've gone into. So I'm just going to come back out of this and go back to the first location that I was in. Now, to go to your agency's request page, you could click the request link at the top of the page. And this will bring you to your agency request page. And here's where all of your agency requests will be provided. And here's where you can also, initiate different requests. So your agency request page, you will have your common global headers, your request link, your agency profile link, which will take you to the agency profile page, and then the home offices and branches button that will take you to the home offices and branches page. Below that, we have the name of the agency, the ARC number, along with the city and state which the agency is located at. Now, below in this white box is our change request box. So your change request box is going to have your agency's legal name, your agency type, and it's going to provide you with a link to view or to go into your agency profile. Now you'll notice below that in the change request box that there are 7 buttons. So the first one is the update agency profile button. So if you need to make updates to your agency profile, you can also access that from your change request page. If I click that, and it takes me to my agency profile page, and you'll notice that is in a edit mode. And so that's the page that we previously saw. So I'm just going to go back. From the change request page, you'll see next that we have our update roles and contacts. So if I wanted to update my contacts, so I could just click the update roles and contacts button. And you'll see it brings me back to the update agency contact page and in edit mode. The next, we have the owner officer change. So if I want to change my owner or officer, click the owner officer change button. And then you'll notice that there are different steps that I must take to make the changes. So first, step 1, I would have to select, the type of change that I'm making, the type of ownership change that I'm making. Step 2, because the ownership change is still in a paper format or a PDF format, I would actually have to download the necessary forms and upload it and then attach it. Next, we have our bank account change. If I click that, that brings me back to our bank account section, and I could make the necessary changes and submit. If I want to add a branch, just click the Add Branch button. And I could indicate if I want to add a traditional branch or an associated branch, and then fill out the information and submit for approval. Next, we have bulk change, and bulk change applies to our larger agencies that may need to submit changes or multiple changes to their different locations for the different locations. Today, what they do, they actually send our accreditation specialists an Excel format of the bulk changes that they want to complete. They actually send it to Stacy, and then she actually starts processing the bulk changes that are requested. With the new tool, instead of sending Stacy an email, you can actually upload an Excel spreadsheet and with your bulk changes, attach it to this change request and submit it electronically through the tool. And then our last request is other changes. And the other changes are change requests that are still in a PDF format. To access that, under step 1, under the drop-down menu, under the request type drop-down menu, you would just select the change request that you want to submit. So I'm going to come back to some of these change requests. So below your change request options, we have our open requests. And your open request is going to display it's going to show your current change requests that are currently open. So it's going to show the 4 current requests that are currently open. And within this view, you'll be able to tell the type of change request that it is. Like for the first one, we have cancel participation. Next one, we have accredited agency legal name change. Next, we have BTC legal name change. And last, we have ownership update with current owners. So you'll know the type of change requests that these are. And then also, you'll know the status of the request. So you'll see that for the first one, I have under review. For the BTC legal name change, I have that is in a draft. It's currently in a draft mode. And one of the nice things about the open requests, the statuses are going to be color. Each of the requests are going to be color coordinated based on the status that it is in. So if you need to see all of your change requests, just scroll down below where we have all requests. And this section is going to list all of your requests that you have submitted. And these can be requests that are currently open or closed. Now, the accreditation tool is going to store your requests up to 39 months. That's currently how it is done today. And so we're going to continue with that process. So all your change requests are going to be listed by date, the case number. The case number is going to be your request number. So in today's environment, we say request, the request number. With the new accreditation tool, it's going to be called the case number. Next, you're going to have your ARC number in which the request came from, the type of request, such as cancel participation, update address, the submitter who submitted the request at your agency, and the status of the request, such as under review, approved. So you'll be able to know the status of the request at a quick glance. Now, from your list of requests, you are able to sort them. So you could sort your requests by date, case number, ARC number, the type of the request, the submitter, and the status. To sort, just click the arrow next to the title, the header title. So I'm going to sort by date, and I'm going to actually pull up my most current requests. So you'll see I have some that were submitted today. Now, from your list of requests, you could also do a search. So you could search a request by ARC number, the date that it was submitted, the case ID or number, the status, the request type, or the submitter who submitted the request. You can also, search by date range. So you just enter in the calendar date boxes. You could select the beginning calendar date and the end calendar date. So you're able to select by date range. Now, if you want to go into a request, whether you're going to go in by your open request from the open section or from your list requests, if you want to go into a request from your list of requests, just click the case number link Or if you want to go in from your open request section, just double click the case that you want to go into. So I'm going to actually go into from my list of requests. I'm just going to click the case number for the first request that's listed for October 14th. And that's going to bring me into the request details of the request. So the request details is going to, tell you again, what type of request this is, and this is update address. It's going to have your ARC number. Below that, it's going to have your case number, the date that it was submitted on, who it was submitted by, and the reviewer at your agency, the reviewer at ARC, the ARC specialist, the accreditation specialist who was working on your, who was working on your request. So it would have their name as well as their email address and phone number. Now this is an address change request. So this was updated immediately and it did not require ARC's approval. So instead of having the accreditation specialist contact information, it just has ARC admin and then the ARC admin's email address. It's kind of a generic contact because it was updated immediately. It did not require, this is a servicing request that does not need ARC's approval. So next in this area, if you want to, we also have the status of the other request, and you can see that it has been approved. If you want to view the history of the request, you could click the view request history, and that will take you to the bottom of the page, and it will provide a history of the request. So I'll scroll back up. In the comments section, here you will be able to view any comments that was submitted by the reviewer, by the accreditation specialist, or if you want to send them a message, you're able to type it in the comments section in the text box and click reply. We'll type is. And then click reply. And it's gonna take a few minutes for the page to update. I'm just gonna do it manually so I can show you. And you'll see the message that I just submitted. You'll see it has a date stamp, the user who submitted the request, and the user that submitted the comments, as well as the message that was sent. So this message would immediately be sent to the ARC specialist. They will receive it in real time, and they will be able to reply or add a comment if needed. Now the email section will display any emails that were initiated by the accreditation specialist through the tool. So you would have a history of all the emails that was submitted. The attachments area will list any attachments that have been attached to this request, and you could just double click the link to display it, or it also if an attachment is needed to be attached to the request, you are able to upload attachments. And then again, last page, we have our request history that provides you a date history of the request. So any changes that were made, any additions that were made, you will be able to see the history of that request. So I'm going to go back to our requests page. So I'm going to update my bank account. So I changed banks, so I want to update my bank account information. So I'm going to click the bank change link. And that's going to bring me to the change bank request, where I'll be required to enter my bank account information. So I'm going to provide my bank name. The city and state in which it's located. And see, this is actually located in Arlington, the state. It's going to be Virginia. Enter my routing number. I'm going to confirm my routing number. I'm going to enter my bank account number and then confirm my bank account number. And then last, you'll notice we have an effective date, which must be a PED date. So I could select a PED date in which this change is going to take place or be effective. So under the drop-down menu, the calendar drop-down menu, I'm going to select a PED date, which is always going to be on a Sunday. So I'm going to say it's going to take place on PED October 25th. Let's select October 25th. And it's going to give this one more look to see if everything's okay. And then once I'm ready to submit my request, I could go ahead and submit, click the submit button. And you'll see when I click the submit button, I got an error that my account number and the confirm account number does not match. So let's try this again. And I'm going to click submit. And what's submitted? You notice I got a quick message saying that it was submitted successfully. And it brings me to my agency profile page. And if I scroll down to the bank account information section, you'll notice that the change that I made has been updated immediately. So I'm going to get back to my request page. And I'm going to go to all my requests. And I'm going to pull up my most recent requests. And you'll notice that from my bank account change that I made, it is listed, see on line 3, and that it has been approved. So it was approved immediately, meaning that I was not required to, that ARC was not required to approve this. I was able to submit this myself and have it update immediately. Now let's say I want to submit a change request that is not in electronic format. So I want to submit a request that is currently in the paper format. Now, you'll probably know that, remember that in today's environment, that if there's a change request that's not in electronic format, that you actually have to go outside of the tool, go to ARC's corporate website to the form catalog, the agency form catalog, and download the PDF application. With the new tool, you could just click the Other Change button. And it brings us to the other manual change request page. Step 1, I need to search for the request type. So I'm just going to click the drop-down menu. And then these are the requests that are in a PDF format. So let's say I want to update my manager, update the manager contact. I'm going to select Update Manager. And you notice once I do that, a Download Update Manager form appears. And if I click that link, the form will appear. And I'm in a test environment, so that's why we just have this kind of a test form here. But in production, you would actually download this, fill it out, save it to your computer, and then step 2 would be to upload the completed form. So you just click the upload completed form link, and then from your files, just search for the form that you just completed and save. Upload, and you see that I have uploaded. And then you could go ahead and submit it for approval. Now, before I go ahead and submit this, with any change requests that requires ARC's approval, when you start filling it out, you are able to save it before you submit it, save it as a draft. So to save it, just click Save as Draft. And so if you need to come back to a later to finish completing it or adding additional information, you can always do so. So you don't have to submit it immediately. You can save it. So I want to go ahead and submit this. I'm going to go ahead and submit it. Let's submit for approval. And I got a quick message that the request has been submitted. And then once submitted, it provides me with my request details. So you'll see a case number has been assigned, provides me with the date that it was submitted, the user who submitted the form or the request, and then the reviewer. Now, since I just submitted this request, you'll see that the reviewer says that it's in a change request queue, because right now it has not been assigned to an accreditation specialist. Once it's assigned to an accreditation specialist, the reviewer information will be updated with their contact and with their name, their email, along with a phone number. And at any time, you're able to go into the open requests. If you have any comments that you want to add, or if you want to send a message to the accreditation specialist, just type in your message in the comments area. And click reply. If you have any additional documents that you want to include with this request, under attachments, you could go ahead and upload any additional attachments. And you'll notice that the paper or PDF change request that I had that I attached is located here. And I can just double click the link to display it.
Hey, Daryl, and we have a lot of questions that have come in. So I don't know if you want to, there'll be time at the end of your presentation to get to some of those.
Yes, I'm actually wrapping up now. Just gonna.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you.
I'm just gonna go back to the request page. I'm just going to do a sort. Now, once your change request has been submitted, it will be listed under the open requests and then also under all requests. And I'm in a test environment, so that's why it hasn't these two sections haven't updated immediately. But once you go into production, once it's submitted, it will be listed under open requests and then also under all requests. So I'm going to actually go ahead and open it up for any questions that we may have. So I'm going to turn it back over to Judy and Stacy and Marvi.
Okay, yeah, we have definitely a good few questions here. So the first question is not so much about the accreditation tool, but this person wants to know, is there any difference in the way we file our report?
And I'm assuming that's going to be your IR report,
Yes.
The IR report. Right now, I don't have a lot of information on the new something that it is currently being worked on by our transformation settlement team. So I don't have any information on that yet. As they progress with the requirements of that, more information will be provided and shared.
Okay, and the next question is, can any user access this tool, or does it have to be admin only?
And I'm going to turn that over to Marvi, because I know all agencies have access to the tool, and I believe it will be I believe it's going to be the MyArc primary administrator that will actually assign the tool to a user. And Marvi, you may have more information on this. Marvi. All right, it doesn't look like Marvi is there, but we will be sending out from all the questions that are submitted. We will be sending out an FAQ, so we'll make sure that that is included in the FAQ.
Okay, next question. Will there be any issues with the different browsers? This person has had an issue using Chrome, knows that the tool works better in Internet Explorer. And of course, the concern is that IE is no longer supported by Microsoft.
And Marvi, I don't know if you are there, because I'm actually using Chrome now, and I primarily have been using Chrome. However, I'm also on a Mac, and so I did go into Safari using this, and there was some slight differences, but I would need the Marvi or someone in the development team to kind of maybe answer that. I don't know if it was my settings or if it's or if it there is an issue, but yeah, I'm using Chrome and there is no problem. But I believe that all the main browsers, it should work on all the main browsers. I mean, Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer.
Okay, and I think Marvin may be having audio difficulties.
Oh, okay.
So we'll move on to the next question. So the next question is, we have one location. We prefer our brick and mortar location address, but we also have a PO box. Can the program accommodate two addresses, a preferred and a secondary?
So right now it's it's going to be your physical address where you're located. So it's going to be one physical address and one mailing address.
Right, and then also to add that the PO box, we can only use that for the mailing address, and the physical address actually has to be a street address, not a PO box. So the PO box is only for the mailing address. Just adding that.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. Okay. Oh, will the agency now be able to add a ArcPay contact person and email address?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Sorry. Will the agency now be able to add an ArcPay contact person and email address?
Oh, so can they add an ArcPay contact and what was the last word?
And an email address? And it looks like Marvi's actually messaging me privately and she says yes.
Yes, and that's right. The ArcPay contact, when you go to your contacts, you will be able to add a ArcPay contact.
Okay. Next question, if I'm a branch, am I able to view all the other branches?
So if you are a branch, and I believe that you can only view that one location. So the home office can view all of their locations, and the branch location would only have access to that branch location.
Okay. There's one question about, are you dropping the fees?
And I did. Sorry, I kind of left that out. And Marvy had emailed me to include that. So for example, I know I should mention what the when you add a branch location, right now the fees for the branch location is not immediately available in the tool. So once you submit the request, the accreditation specialist will provide you with the fee information. For your self-servicing request that you could update immediately, there will be no fees associated with them.
Yep, that's correct. And also our application fees at this time are not changing. Okay, let's see.
Okay, and I'm going to just interject because we're coming to our kind of our close of our webinar. So I want to just say thank you to Daryl and thank you to Stacy and to Marvy. And Marvy, so sorry that you were hearing us but not being able to speak to answer some of these questions. We got a lot of really good questions in. These will be used to create an FAQ document that will be posted on our Corp site. There'll be many probably ways to access it, but the main place that may live is probably under our training section, and from the accreditation area, I'm sure we'll be able to link to that. This webinar is recorded and it will be available under training on our Corp site under webinars on demand. So we will be offering this. There is another session that's happening next week. It's next Thursday, October 22nd. And that will start at 2 East Coast time. So you should be able to register that from our Corp site under events. You should be seeing emails that go out. So if you didn't get the information you needed, please sign up for that again, or always reach out and we'll try to get you the answers that you need. As always, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. I know you're all busy. Hope that this tool is going to be something that you'll embrace and that will be a real positive for you. Daryl, thank you very, very much for your presentation. And again, a warm thank you to Marvi and Stacy for joining us today as well. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.